This episode really feels like a fresh start, a launch into a new storyline that's going to propel the show forward, and I'm really excited. It's Battlestar Galactica Day. I did notice this episode is called Final Cut, which amuses me because the editing software I use to edit all my videos is Final Cut Pro. So is someone making a movie? I don't know why this is called Final Cut, but maybe we're gonna get a glimpse at the media side of things, or there'll be an element of, I don't know. I'm just excited to continue our Battlestar Galactica journey, so let's watch episode 8 for the very first time. Adama reviewing footage of the riot. One of the most horrific things that happened.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
This recently discovered footage from what's become known as the Gideon
Oh,
massacre.
the media has it.
As of today, not a single charge has been filed against any of the Marines involved, nor their commanding officers.
I take it I'm here because you're unhappy with my story on the Gideon massacre?
It was a tragedy, but it was not a massacre.
I've submitted a dozen interview requests, all denied.
The truth matters.
That's about to change.
Oh, they're trying to buy her off.
Unlimited access.
Won't buy your propaganda piece.
We don't want one. I want to show the people what life aboard the Galactic is really like. I want to put a human face on the officers and the crew who protect us against Cylons.
Smart, yeah.
Might not like that face when you see it.
Show us what the men and women of Galactic are really like.
We'll see how that goes.
Colonel, it's your wife. Something's wrong.
From the darkness, you must fall.
You start shooting anything that compromises the safety of this ship, and it'll be cut.
He's saying I get Final Cut.
More fallout from Ty's moment of glory.
You heard about his death threat?
I just can't believe that I haven't been called in for questioning yet.
Oh, you were top of the list.
Starbuck would theoretically be a valid suspect, although we know she's not. Well, that's interesting. Cute people running around in towels.
Emma! This is for my buddies on Freighter 212! Yeah!
Oh my gosh. I had a feeling she was going to do something like that. I'm so entertained.
My dad went crazy when I enlisted. He thought the military was a joke.
But you signed up anyway.
I guess I just wanted to believe in something.
I'm the vice president. She's supposed to be interviewing me, isn't she?
Well, of course she should. Your title alone commands respect.
Of course it does. It's right.
He just wants to know why he's not being interviewed. How can I make myself the center of attention?
Miss Beers, our next stop is...
I would love to speak to you. If you've got a second, we can do it now.
No, I'm afraid not. I am very busy.
Guys, it's all you want, man. Why? He wants them to chase him. He wants them to beg for it.
What a strange little man. You seem to think that your pilots deserve special consideration.
Actually, I do. My pilots have lost their families,
Good answer.
but on top of that, they're asked to put their lives on the line every single day for a fleet that seems more interested in what they do wrong than in what they do right.
Wow.
Something doesn't feel right.
Well, hurry up!
Oh.
Maybe if your knuckle dragger spent more time on maintenance, less time fracking around.
This knuckle dragger just saved
I
you.
don't think the camera heard you.
You know what? Frack the camera. You've been riding my
Don't
crew's
even
ass
try to
for
frack it! Knock it off!
Yeah.
Chief.
Cute girl's got a bad attitude, man. I just went from liking her to really, really disliking her like that. You don't treat Chief like that, man.
Did you get all that? You happy?
Come on.
I love watching their interactions with the camera. You're not capable of just ignoring it like a traditional reality TV show or something, right? Making them very uncomfortable, as it probably should.
You're going because you're not afraid, and people should see that. I think you need a little R&R.
We all need some mandatory R&R from time to time. We just do. So if you haven't taken any in a while, be sure to get some soon. Maybe that's what you're doing now. Thanks for being here, by the way.
Initiating pre-flight.
I hope it's not damaged beyond repair. We need every vessel we have. Is this an attempt on Ty's life? Like, that wouldn't have just happened, right?
This is blown to transit. Cabot would have entered to space.
Thankfully, the problem presented early.
Roslyn wants to placate the fleet. Put the great Adama back on his pedestal. Fastest way to do that is by hanging you out to dry.
That's not what they're trying to do, Ellen.
The Gideon happened on my watch.
But you didn't order those jarheads to open fire.
He's still responsible. Maybe I'm just inclined to disagree with everything Ellen Ty says. I think that's an appropriate stance to take, to be honest with you. How you doing, Sharon? Is she sick? Is the baby okay? No.
The Cylons hit, and
I realized that this is all that I know. Just wondering if there's something more.
Drink?
Is this an interview or a cocktail party?
You kidding? This is how we keep it painless.
I'm worried that she's gonna, I don't know, entrap him? He shouldn't be drinking.
You were in full command of Galactica for more than a week, and in that time there were a number of controversial actions taken.
I made a military decision. Given the same circumstances, I'd do it again. You're trying to set me up.
Please, Colonel.
Get out of my face!
Oh, gosh.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
Got it.
Why has Colonel Tyne not been charged in the Gideon incident?
I will not sacrifice the few people we have left on the altar of public outrage.
Tyne, the shooters, take a walk.
Nobody takes a walk. We all gotta live with it.
Yeah. It's hard. Oh my gosh, what's wrong with her? Cat.
Controls are messed up.
I don't dislike her so much that I want her to die. She could still be redeemed.
One mistake. We're smear in the cockpit.
I don't understand. Is she trying to comment?
Shut the frack up.
Oh. Come on, girl. What happened?
Home is dead! We gotta get out of here! They're gonna kill us! We gotta get out of here! What are these stems? Please!
Stems. Oh no. That explains it. I mean, it's clear she had an altered mental state.
Listen,
What are you doing?
listen to me! I'm trying to save your baby. Hold her. This is a restricted area.
They shouldn't have footage of that.
That woman looks just like the late Lieutenant Valeri.
The tape, please.
Why would Galactica be harboring a Cylon?
The tape.
Now I'm sick to death of people like you questioning my patriotism. We all want this fleet to survive.
Good for you, Adama. So what are you gonna do?
You know what? I'm ready. Shall we shoot this one?
Oh, sorry, guys. Not today.
What have we got? The Raiders closing fast.
Oh man, it's not a false alarm. Actual raiders have found them for the first time in quite a while.
Did you ever come to terms with your dad?
The last time we talked, it got heated. I told him I never wanted to see him again.
Oh, that sucks.
3 weeks later, the Cylons attacked.
Yep. I knew that was coming. Oh, D.
Should I be scared?
I am.
Good response.
Apollo, wireless check. Prepare to engage. Weapons hot.
I like this. Seeing like the crew and just going back and forth between all the different perspectives, except for the perspectives of those in the Raptors or Vipers or whatever they're flying these days.
That's a kill. Yes.
You can't help but feel that.
Does this ever get any easier?
No.
No, ma'am. It gets harder.
Thank you.
And this is the best thing I think that could have happened for Deanna. She needs to see what they're doing is so significant and so important. And
Well, we didn't lose anyone.
well,
That's a good
we'll
day.
talk. We didn't lose anyone. That's a good day. It's so freaking true.
Ellen.
What is that? What's he reading? So he's the bad guy here.
You can go to hell.
I've been there. It's called Gideon. Those weren't Cylons we tagged. These were real people.
Somebody has to pay for what happened on that ship. I was in command.
This isn't the way. You know this.
Come on, son. Do it.
No, don't.
Gideon was an accident. This is a choice.
Correct.
Colonel, we're all right here.
Wow.
Would you get out of my face?
Okay, the smallest amount of sympathy for Ellen today. Just a touch.
Felt like I was losing my edge. I don't know what else to do. There are no replacements coming up. There's no downtime. This is it. So I started taking stems.
The pressure is real.
Those guys, they're just as tired and they're just as messed up as I was. But they're still laying it on the line. It's the first time that I felt ashamed.
Oh, wow.
It's a hatchet job.
It's not, is it?
He thinks we're a bunch of trigger-happy assassins. This just confirms it.
I think it's great.
That's how I felt.
I'm proud of it.
You can't have a puff piece where everyone just looks great. It needs to be authentic.
In all honesty, I thought I knew what that story was before I ever set foot there. The truth was more complex than that.
It usually is.
What struck me most is that despite it all, the hardships, the stress, the ever-present danger of being killed, they never give up. There are no relief troops coming. The people on Galactica are it. Not a single member of Galactica's crew has asked to resign.
It's powerful.
The story of Galactica isn't that people make bad decisions under pressure. It's that those mistakes are the exception.
That was shown across their entire fleet.
Play the footage that was cut.
Why do they have access to everything? Crap.
I'm still alive.
I didn't want them to know
And the
that.
baby?
It was safe.
I lost 2 raiders relaying the images back to the fleet, but I think the sacrifice was worth it.
Holy crap!
Surely it's a
Cylon!
miracle from God.
We met another Cylon! It never occurred to me that she might be a Cylon! Oh my golly, gee willikers! I gotta add her to the Cylon list on my notes document. We know half the Cylons now. Okay, full transparency. The first 10 minutes or so of this episode was the first time where I found myself wondering, oh no, do we have a dud on our hands? Is this the first kind of like not that great episode? I was real skeptical for the first little bit, but it ended up being a great episode. I want to rewatch it. I'm going to edit it actually right after I finish this, so I am going to rewatch it. I'm so excited about it. As the episode was growing on me, I did find myself thinking a couple things. One, okay, well, we could have used a more lighthearted episode, and this had some great lighthearted moments, and then it swelled into a beautiful emotional tapestry that had me crying, which I didn't expect, especially as the episode started. Two, I was thinking that, okay, well, this is a good opportunity to build some connections with some of our side characters, as well as introducing some new characters, like Lieutenant Gaeta and Dee. We went kind of deeper and got to know them a little bit better and had some great moments with them. So even if this had ended up being a weaker episode, I was thinking, well, it's going to build connections with characters that's going to really have some wonderful payoffs later. But wow, it ended up being just an amazing episode in its own right. Definitely wasn't sure what I thought of Deanna when she started going on board the Galactica. I also was trying to kind of think through what kind of story should she tell, and I'm gonna talk about that in a second, I suppose. But let's just start with her. She did, by her own admission, come to the Galactica with a story she wanted to tell and a narrative that she wanted it to push, and that is a very real issue that's only become more prevalent in our culture and our society. Is we sometimes start our observations with our belief. We start our observations with what we think is true, and our confirmation bias, we automatically begin looking for information that's going to prove our point rather than coming as an objective observer. So I liked that even though the choices she made, the questions she was asking were initially to push a narrative, how she came to change her perspective and realizing, as she said here, that the truth is more complex. And the truth usually is more complex. We naturally want to boil things down to their simplest form. We want to have good guys and bad guys, and there are black and white moments, there are black and white things, but a lot of times the truth is more complex. There are different perspectives, and we live in a complex world, and we sometimes make judgments about situations and people as very far outside observers based on very little information. And yeah, the truth is more complex in almost every situation, which is why I try very hard to listen to multiple sides of perspectives, multiple sides of situations, and try to boil down to a little bit deeper understanding of truth. But it's so hard in 2023 to do, and maybe it's always been hard. I don't know. It just feels more difficult today than it was for me 10 years ago, but I'm different today than I was 10 years ago, so that's probably part of it. You know, the conclusion she came to, the story isn't that people make bad mistakes under pressure, right? And of course, I was right there criticizing Colonel Ty, as I felt like he was making all these mistakes during his leadership. But as she said, that's not the story. It's that those moments are the exception. And I feel like we've seen that throughout the show they do far more right than they do wrong. And of course, the mistakes are costly. Make no errors in judgment. The mistakes truly are costly, but they are few and far between. And there's no one else to do it. There's no one else to serve. And so I like how this story ended up being played out and the perspective that she ended up showing, because the fleet do need to see, the colonists, they do need to see the humanity of the people in charge, and not just the highlighting the mistakes. We want to focus on mistakes. We also need to focus on the humanity. We need to focus on what they do right as well. We don't want to do a puff piece. We don't want to lie to the people and make it look like as Colonel Ty clearly wanted, right? Like, we're all heroes and we're all good people and we're perfect and shiny, but like, that's not real. Anytime something seems too good to be true or too perfect or too shiny, no chinks in the armor, it raises my alarm bells. Like, okay, I don't think we're seeing the full story. So seeing the truth of the situation, seeing the flaws with the good, as I think that we saw very clearly here, is really, really a beautiful thing. It makes things more authentic, and I want to root for humanity. I want to root for authenticity. That's just kind of how I'm built and how I think. So in the end, I guess I really, really loved this episode. It really tapped into something for me, and really, it did for me as the audience what they were trying to do for the colonists, right? The whole fleet. It just really it really reminded me of how dire the situation is, how important the crew of the Galactica is. And I liked the inclusion of Kat. I don't know if we've seen her before or not. I just don't. I sometimes struggle to latch on. There's a lot of characters in the show, and I don't always catch on to characters right away. But if this was your introduction, certainly it was the first time that I noticed her and she came into prominence. Fantastic introduction to her character. They really showed some personality, and then immediately flipped it with some faults and flaws. And then we found out she was on stems and kind of out of commission for a little while. And I care about her. I want to see her get back in the swing of things, and hopefully from a healthier standpoint. We learned about Dee's relationship with her pop, the conflict they had, and how they're, now he's gone and she'll never have resolution, and she has to carry that. And I just think of all the people who have lost parents or loved ones and things didn't end on a good note. Like, that is so difficult. I don't know how to come to terms with that. Maybe you do. Please let me know in the comment section. But you can't change reality. You can't go back in time and undo it. Maybe you can see from a different perspective and recognize even through conflict there was love. I'm sure that her dad loved her as surely as she loved him, even though there was conflict, and the last conversation was rough. But I feel for that strongly. And then, of course, the end we see on Caprica, our friendly neighborhood Cylons sitting in a movie theater, essentially watching this report, which was fascinating in and of itself. Then they find out Sharon survived and the baby's still alive. I loved how Sharon said, like, I'm alive. Like, oh, she's alive. Like, even she's not sure if they're the same person or not. Very entertaining. And then, of course, they reveal that Deanna, hi, our resident reporter, another Cylon. Dang it. We know half the Cylon squad now, and the other half still to go. I like that. I feel really good about it. And, 2.5 more seasons before we're done. So I suspect getting 2 Cylon reveals like that in such close proximity, probably we won't get another one for a while, but that's okay. I'm just excited to see where the show continues to go, and I'm just so impressed that they continue to engage me in unique and different ways. And this episode was no exception, despite the fact that I thought it would be early on. Wow. There really haven't been any duds for me yet. I'm sure there will be at least 1 or 2 duds before the show's said and done. But I thought this was it. But I'm impressed that the show has got me. It's got me hook, line, and sinker. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button and subscribe. And definitely feel free to check me out on Patreon, where you can get early access, full-length reactions, and more. I'd love to see you over there. But most importantly, thank you for being here. Here's another video you might enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.